Still on the tropical cyclone backlog. Now, by the fourth day in the house when I could barely leave it, and I think there was a third day without electricity, I was getting a little bit tetchy. I couldn't find anything I wanted to read. I had that slight feeling that nothing I read was going to be good enough. I'd finished the books that I'd planned to read, and I picked up, once again, Douglas Coupland, Generation X. It's very bright. It's very, very pink. It has been on my bookshelf for several years now. Now, this is a DNF. It's a DNF at page 33. And I think, as this is probably about the fourth or fifth time I've DNF'd this book, I'm very likely not going to come back to it. I might even sell it. I just don't really enjoy it. And one of the hints could possibly have been from the back of the book, where Time Out, whoever the hell they are, say, a new age J.D. Salinger on smart drugs. I'm not a fan of smart drugs. I think they're bad for your metabolism usually. And J.D. Salinger, I'm 99% certain, wrote Catcher in the Rye, which is probably my most hated book ever. I loathed that book. And I agree. There's definite similarities. I don't know what is trying to happen here, but it's basically a few people talking about themselves and thinking about themselves in weird fashion. To me, it reads like Coupland was someone who used to hang around in public places, and whenever he heard a story, or parties, whenever he heard a story or saw a description of someone that he thought was pretty cool, he'd save it in his mind or write it in his notebook to appear here, because that is how the first 30 pages read. It's cool event after cool event happening to these three people who aren't particularly well described and aren't particularly likable. I do quite like his dogs, but you don't get much of the dogs. And I just don't get it. I don't know why I thought this was science fiction or even cyberpunk, but tell me if I'm wrong. I don't think this is science fiction or cyberpunk. I think it's just wordy people stuff, which can be good, but I don't find this one good. The Times thinks it's dizzying sparkle and originality, and I don't see it. I just see it's writing about quirky, sure, it's very quirky, as the Mail on Sunday says, whoever the hell they are. Quirky, witty, with an affection for its character which lifts it above the level of such as Bret Easton Ellis's Less Than Zero. Now, talking of banned books, which we were not, I'm pretty sure that Bret Easton Ellis wrote American Psycho, which is a banned book, or it's banned at least to sell in this state, and which certainly didn't have any noticeable affection for its characters when I read it. So, I don't know. The more I read the back of this book, and the more times I try to read it, I feel that it's just one of those books that becomes fashionable because it's fashionable for some reason, and a few people like the Times and Time Out and Daily Telegraph have just the right reviewer to review it and convince everyone it's good. I'm not saying it's bad. I'm just saying that there might be a point to it that I'm not getting. And after many attempts, I still can't get it. So if you think I'm missing the point, and this is a fantastic book, the vibe of the generation, or the voice of the generation, someone online called it, please do tell me how. I'm definitely not getting it. And unless someone convinces me to try once again in the next couple of weeks, this is going on into the next carton that gets reassigned to another secondhand bookshop. Thank you for listening to this cyclone-fueled rage review. I hope I'm not maligning your favourite book. I hope Douglas Coupland never sees it and I'm not maligning his book. But I'm not saying I'm right. I'm just saying I didn't like it. Correct me by all means. I don't care. Just leave a comment. Tell me I'm wrong. Whatever.